show today, folks. This is Working with Phil, number 10, or is it 11? I don't know. I keep losing track. But the show is called Pool Cleaning. And, I've been remiss in my duties of taking you to all these pools and all these places and cleaned all these pools, but I haven't actually showed you how to do it. Not that it's hard, but some of you might be curious. Some of you might have a pool and have a few issues. And so I'll show you how I do it. And maybe some folks will learn some things. Maybe some folks will laugh at me and say, well, yeah, I mean, look at this guy. I mean, nobody really needs a pool boy, do they? Right? No. You can do it yourself. Whoops. You can do it yourself. But most of the customers that we have, are a little bit more affluential and, don't want to do it themselves, right? So we're going to go into the pool shed for a sec, and we'll show you the kind of typical setup, right? So here we are at Mr. J's pool. I just started dropping my hose in, right? And so we'll pull this back out. And we're going to go right from 100% fresh for you. So we had all the jets turned way up, and it didn't make sense because there's nothing to skim here. So I just turned them back down, and some stuff is settling still. But as you can see, it's really not that dirty. There's, this is typical of about a week's worth of dirt in a pool. It's probably a little bit light. There's a lot of stuff kind of blowing around here. So that's the pool. Here's the pump house or pool shed or equipment thing. So that's the pool heater. That's the pool pump. That's the pool filter. We got the electrical panel there. The white box is the salt system. And the gray box there is the transformer for the lights. So we'll just quickly kind of go over the technicalities of the operations, right? So the water coming from the pool is coming from those two lines there. So you can see it says main drain and skimmer. So I'll just go back out to the pool for a second. So that box down on the side is the skimmer, and then that is your main drain there in the center. Pretty straightforward, right? So when I vacuum a pool, I turn off the main drain, as you can see, and I just have it on the skimmer, so that gives me all the power of this pump onto the skimmer line. Okay? So it comes out of the pump, and it goes through this filter. Now inside this thing, okay, there's a tube that goes down here. It's full of sand, of course, or it could be a glass medium too, right? The new ones are glass, and glass is better because, sand is glass, right? But the glass is better because it doesn't wear out. So down at the bottom of this tube, there's like fingers that stick out. There's 10 of them all around in a circle. So basically the water has to be pushed through the sand, and the fresh stuff comes out the top. So it has to pull it through the sand for it to work. Okay, so then it comes back out, and then it's going actually around here to the heater. This is a backwash line. This is coming back out here, comes around, it's going into the heater, it's coming out of the heater, it's going through the salt cell, and then back, and then those two pipes down there go back to the pool. So, just quickly we'll talk about the salt cell. It's not a salt water pool, it's a salt water sanitization system. So there is salt in the water, okay? And then this control unit here, what this does is convert the salt into chlorine gas. And then the chlorine gas is basically injected into the water in this device here, right? So it's still a chlorine pool, but we're generating the chlorine with this salt generator. Okay? Just a small point to clear up, because people say, oh, is it saltwater pool? Now we also need to keep some chemicals on hand, especially when we open and start pools, right? So he's got some chlorine and some buffer there. That's a filter from the spa. This guy has a spa on his property there too, right? So this is an average setup. This is basically a bare bones kind of setup. Actually, you don't have to have a salt system or even pool lights, right? But this is kind of standard. This is where we go. So first thing I do when I get to any location is I do the backwash, right? So I want to make sure that this filter is clean in here. All right. So anytime you make any adjustment to your filter head, always shut the pump off. It has to be done without pressure. So I've switched it to backwash, so it's upside down. We're going to put the pump back on again. So what this is doing is cleaning out the dirt that's in the top of this filter that it's been capturing since the last time it was washed out, right? So take a second for the pressure to build up, and you're going to see water and dirt start flowing in this sight glass. And then he's just got a hose running out the back there for it. A lot of them are underground, So you can see it flowing there now. Basically, you want to do this until it runs clear. This pool was pretty clean, as you can see. So not a lot of dirt coming out of the backwash at all, which is good. That's what I want to see. Usually this is a little bit of a choke point, pardon the pun, but this filter can only hold so much dirt, and then it needs to be backwashed. And if you don't backwash it, it's just going to return it to the pool, right? Okay, so that's pretty clear. The next step I do is I rinse it. And that's going to clean out the last little bit of dirt that's in the actual head itself, right? And then what you see here is going to be what's coming back to the pool. So we want to make sure that's nice and clean. Nice and clean right now. Okay, now we can go back to the filter. So one last thing for the pumps, and this is something most people don't kind of understand, is your gauge. Okay, so the way the pressure gauge works, what it's reading, okay, is how much dirt is inside this filter. All right, so this gauge is a little bit off, okay, but as you can see, it's sitting at 20. Okay, as the filter gets plugged, this will go up to 30 or 40. Okay, and then it's kind of telling you that it needs to be backwashed, right? So people kind of think though the opposite is they think, oh, they see the pressure up high, that's good, and when it's down low, that's bad. But this gauge works the opposite to that. It works how I just explained it, right? High is bad, low is good, right? And you can see, you can't see water flowing through this because this is just for backwashing and cleaning out your filter, okay? That's why you don't see any water flowing through this now in normal operation. So, the filter's been backwashed, the pump's set up the way I want it to. Let's go drop the hose in the pool. And I'm not going to show you the whole vacuuming because that's pretty boring, right? But I want to show you how I put the hose in, and you might be wondering what this other little thing here is. That's my leaf can. So I'm going to throw you on the tripod for a minute. Hold on, folks. Okay, so first off, put your vacuum head, whatever type it could be, on the end of your pool pole. This one's a roller type. Attach your hose to your head. Now this end here is blue, and this end is white. This end has a swivel on it, you can see, and that's pretty important. You have that end down in the pool first. Put that down in there. I usually like to do this on the deep end, but it doesn't matter a whole lot, right? Let it go kind of gently to the bottom, and just let it sit the head against the main drain down there so my pool pole won't disappear. popping your hose in. I used to always do this kneeling down. Well, that gets hard on the knees after 10 pools a day or something, right? So the reason I'm putting the hose in like this is to push all the air out of the hose. You don't want air going into the pump back into the system. A little bit is kind of unavoidable sometimes, but with some pools that have priming issues, or you can lose the prime on your pump, that's a big deal. You know, you don't want all that air going into your system. So you don't have to use a leaf can. I always do, right? Because it stops debris from going into the filter in there, the basket in there, and the filter. So it's doesn't matter how much dirt, or so it's not necessarily just for leaves, right? So you might not be able to see it too good from that distance, but it's basically a metal perforated cylinder inside there, right? The water just flows through it, catches the dirt. So again, I put this in a kind of certain way to get all the air out of it first, right? Back the hose. So if you didn't use the leaf canister, you'd be putting that hose right down into your return on the skimmer. Stick it down in there. If it pops up, is pulling in a little bit of air, kind of let that come out of the system. And we have vacuuming power. That's it. And I can already feel it like kind of pulling down to the bottom of the pool. So we'll just grab the camera for a sec so you can see it actually working. I just wanted to show you, hoping the camera's picking that up, that we're vacuuming up that little bit of dirt that's in there. So that's really about it, guys. You know, you kind of just work around the pool. Some people say, oh, you should start at the shallow end and work to the deep end, and maybe vice versa. If you're vacuuming the pool properly, it doesn't matter, okay? Because every kind of dirt is a little bit different. It should sit at the bottom, but some of it is very light, and as soon as you go past it, it just starts stirring it up. So you got to go super slow. And there's other times that dirt's kind of a little bit bigger and heavier, and you can go a lot faster, right? But you have to judge each individual case, you know, as it goes. And sometimes the same pool might be different week to week, you know what I mean? So, of course, someone who does this all day, every day, I need to go as fast as I can. But the pool also needs to be as clean as I can get it too, right? So, that's about it for pool cleaning. We're going to finish this baby up. Hope there wasn't too much wind noise. We'll finish this baby up. It won't take too long. I've already checked the water balance and chemistry, and that's all good. And yeah, and we'll get out of here. I'll also, when I'm finished this, I'll backwash it again one more time just to make sure it's perfectly clean when I leave it. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for joining me today. Love and peace from Canada. We are YouTube.